let's get into your short topic that you wanted to get into first, and I'm gonna let you start off. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So the story that I wanted to talk about was a story out of New York. I think Brooklyn. I believe is the borough, where this woman who went to a bodega and she called the cops on a 9-year-old boy claiming that he had grabbed her ass, or grabbed her inappropriately, and she calls the cops on her, and a nearby, a bystander, was recording this, and she was like freaking out and like calling the cops, and then like yelling at the kids, and you could see, like, you could hear the boy, bawling his eyes out along with his little sister, and she was just this woman was just utterly insane. I mean, that's the only way I could put it. She was utterly insane, and it turns out that the little boy didn't do anything. Surprise, surprise, because the corner store, the bodega, released its footage, and you can see the woman, and she's like, at the counter, and she has her back towards like the rest of the store, and then this little boy walks by, and it wasn't even like any part of his body, let alone his hand, but like his backpack grazed her backside as he was exiting the store, and that is precipitated her flipping out on this little boy. It's just utterly insane, just utterly and totally insane of this woman to accuse a 9-year-old of groping her, of inappropriately touching her. And I think this is, it's funny because I said, like, Aziz Ansari was the moment that Me Too went too far, but this is the new moment where I proclaim that Me Too, #MeToo, pound Me Too, went too far.
Well, this is as I was saying before we started filming, it's like, this is like Me Too Junior Edition. It's like,
right,
come on,
yeah.
are we really gonna go down this road? And if you when I first heard this story, I was like, what is it? Is this like an Onion article? Like, this can't be real, right?
Right. Seriously, and like, you can see, like, she's like yelling at this kid in the video, and you can hear him crying. He's crying. Because he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know, like, he doesn't understand. He doesn't comprehend what's going on. But just that this is the point where we are now we're now like accusing small children who have no idea, who aren't sexual, who aren't necessarily capable of something like that. I mean, I'll admit, at 9 years old, I was starting to notice girls. I was starting to notice their, how physically different they were. I was even feeling a little, I was feeling also, a little attraction towards them, particularly my 4th grade teacher, because she was super hot. But I never like went up to my teacher and grabbed her ass at 9 years old.
I mean, I was always kind of similar to you. I was never like I never went through that, ooh, girls have cooties phase. Never went through that phase. I always liked girls, which has definitely hindered me in my in older years. But at that age, the sexualization that doesn't cross your mind at whatsoever.
Exactly. at 9 years old, if you're like me, you're just starting to notice girls. You're starting to notice their figures, you're just starting to become attracted to them, and you have no idea what to do. You're just kind of like going, wow, she like for some reason I can't stop looking at that girl.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's about
confusing.
it. You don't understand about what bit goes into what bit, and like the whole dynamic between men and women. It's like it's just not something that you're equipped with at 9 years old. It's
Right.
not and you, and you can't say that it's like, oh well, the media. It's like, oh well, you mean the leftist media that you control is teaching kids how to be rapists or being sexual deviants.
Well, the whole feminazi narrative is like, we need to teach men not to, we need to teach boys not to rape.
Oh god, I
That's
hate
not an
that so much.
indication
I
for boys.
goddamn hate that so much because they're like saying,
It's a natural inclination of every boy to rape. That's
but
horseshit.
it's also a slam against my dad, and I fucking hate that because they're saying that my dad taught taught after the birds and the bees talks, he had the rape talk with me, and it wasn't don't rape. It's the okay. This is the best way to rape. This is the best time to rape. Here's the best rope to use. That's essentially what they're saying. Like essentially, when they say like we have to teach our boys not to rape. You're saying that that there's a culture within America that teaches these skills to boys and to men. Which is patently false.
Yeah. I it's funny, growing up, my dad always taught me, obviously to be he was, such a, really good provider for our family, like, and always, kept us safe. But then he was also, when, in, the time that we had together, was more about, hey, respect women, be nice. And he did a lot by his actions, by being chivalrous and caring for my mom. But he also said, he's kind of like, oh, but be wary of women sometimes, or old people in general. But sometimes women are a little bit conniving, and then from my mom, it's like, yeah, don't trust those bitches. So, if anything, like, my mom really, there's a lot of women that, like, my mom just cannot stand. She's more of a woman hater than my dad is,
Yeah.
if anything. But there was never a pro rape conversation anywhere in there, and it just, to me, it's ridiculous. That woman that accuses this 9-year-old of what of this thing is like, you're unhinged at that point. You've jumped the shark. All those things. It's not real. It didn't happen. And yeah, my mom's words, don't trust those bitches. And I have kept to that pretty much my whole life. I'm very well, especially now. I don't I don't put myself in a situation where I'm in a room alone with a woman I don't trust, just because I don't need to be Me Too'd or whatever the hell is going on. Pretty much the only, like, I mean, outside of, like, my mom and my grandmother, like, Joyce is probably the only woman that I spend, like, time alone with.
Right.
Just because, I trust her, but then, like, I'm not gonna get because if you similar to the Bible, Joseph, when he was kind of in Potiphar's house, and his wife kind of like was trying to, hey, yeah, in lack of better terms, like, hey, like, you should fuck me, kind of thing, and then he refused because he didn't want to do that. She accused him of rape, and it's like,
exactly. This is ancient knowledge, like.
So there's nothing new under the sun. This
is ancient knowledge, and everyone was like giving shit to Mike Pence, the vice president. When he said like, oh, I don't take meetings with women unless my wife is there, or I just don't take meetings with women at all. And everyone's like, oh, what a backwards way of thinking. And then all of a sudden, Me Too happens. Like, oh, well, it's not that stupid after all, huh?
Yeah, and it's like I don't want to put like, don't get me wrong. I think women. There's a lot of good women out there, and I've met a lot of good ones, but at the same time, I don't want to be alone with someone that it's kind of, I wouldn't want to bring someone into my house that I don't trust, that I don't like. And there's a lot of unhinged people that, they will, as we'll, discuss in our Hitchcock movie, there's a lot of people that are unhinged that you let them in your life just for, the slightest moment, and they can fuck things up. And in this case, like, just this chance encounter that this kid accidentally brushes up with his backpack, no less, not even his hand.
Yeah. No part of his body touched this woman.
He wasn't the left narrative, the Trump grab him by the pussy,
right.
thing. He wasn't doing that. And
even then, they're like, they're taking, they were taking. Well, let's just be honest, they were straight up lying, because we all know Trump was talking about a very specific type of woman, and it rhymes with mold bigger. I think the kid gave probably the greatest response ever, because after he was vindicated, after it was proven that he didn't do anything, a reporter came to him and said like, and the woman herself like apologized, and I mean, I don't think directly to the kid, but she did. I think she did offer an apology, and the reporter asked this little boy, "Is like, oh, this woman, she apologizes for what she did and accused you of. It's like, do you forgive her?" And he just straight up said no. And he didn't even stop there. He's like, something is wrong with that woman. She needs help. And that is pretty goddamn great, because not only is he like holding her accountable, but he's also like showing compassion, because he's like, because he said like, oh, something's wrong with her, and he could have ended it there, but he also said, and she needs to get help. So he understands that this woman, something's not right. Something's not right with this woman, and he has enough compassion to say, and she needs help.
One of the wisest 9-year-olds I have ever heard from.
Yes, exactly.
And the fact is, like, no, she doesn't. There may be a time for forgiveness later,
right?
But it's like, you have to be held accountable for your actions. She acted badly. She's an adult, and instead of acting rationally, it's like, oh, maybe it was just a kid that accidentally bumped into me. Whoops, it happens. But no, she went unhinged and went all. She went to the worst, thing that she could come up with about this kid. And if I was him, like, I would have probably said the same thing. And, the other thing is, like, she may have scarred this kid for quite a while. Like, I don't know.
Right,
I can't imagine him. As he grows up, I can't imagine him talking to many women at this point, because, like, who knows? Are they going to come off, as a fucking crazy person?
I mean, yeah, if I was this kid, and this happened to me, and, like, the woman apologized, I would have been like, God forgives, I don't.